Well, now I read it, Ambra. Axis, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will never forget you that you are the founder, subscriber of the channel. You are at Discord, so there I'll have perfectly. I'll have you there. So thank you for that. Words cannot really express that after 4 years, uh, the channel at least is good enough as for you to do it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Uh, uh, Beyond money and everything, it's like a personal recognition of the sentiment that I have had, like of my personal feelings regarding all of the effort I put in 4 years, like building all of the reviews and the analysis of the channel. If you ever need any info about what I do, I don't know if the Ender told you anything about it because you were a guild master. I basically review games, analyzing them on a metaphysical level. It's long. You can check out any of my analysis to have an idea. Is what I offer precisely to all of you. To all of you, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will never forget you. And today is the official day of the Polish assembly here in the channel. What day would it be? September the 9th. Okay, September the 9th, the day in which the Polish viewers formed the assembly of the channel. Because, as I told you, I had two previous Polish viewers when I played Sacred 2. So you are officially the majority. The United States is competing with you. I had a lot of US viewers as well. But yeah, Europe, you are the dominant segment in that sense. Thank you, Three Hearts. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Hope it is enjoyable and that my content and my streams are enjoyable for you as they are for the rest. In that sense. Okay, people. Okay, Ambra, you were mentioning how do you think you can make a single app, the single with the multiple? Well, your languages are mostly yes, they are all interpreted. Exactly. I am paid to understand the interpreted ones, basically, not the ones that decompile and do all of those things that you are mentioning. What he's mentioning is like the core, the underlying principles of the software development that I didn't get to. As I told you, Amber, like um, if I get paid, I'm good. I was good at that right from the beginning. I had the advanced English, so for them it was a no-brainer. I was good at it, and I learned quite fast. So pretty much it was like that. There are of course seasons in which there's no software development. As I said, I do it because I like it more than for the money of it. In that sense, if I only thought about that, I would, as I said, I would have already taken care of my family's business that we do condo management. My parents are accountants, and I am, as I said, English teacher, lawyer, and all of those. But really, lawyer didn't give me money, believe it or not. Didn't give me money. It was a quite sacrificed life, and I didn't like it really. I didn't like it. And software development, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, and I like it, as I can also speak in English and everything. And well, in my free time, precisely do this. So yeah, pretty much as I told you. Pretty much that's the idea. They are all interpreted. Yeah. And consider this: when you're working on the languages, like CPP, Rust. No, I didn't even get to those. Just React and maybe Next.js. Oh, when you want to make a single executable with multiple languages, you have to first define some things in your languages. You have to define that one function is going to be made with the different languages. Then you put it through the assembler, but not the assembler files. Then you make, let's say, that function in Rust. Then you put it through the assembler. Then you put those files in the linker. And you think that is not everything that you are describing? Now I'll read the other one. You think that everything that you are describing isn't at least semi-senior? Single executable. You have to define all of those things because the languages use the assembler differently and use different ways to define and use the numbers, arrays, etc. Okay, the loops and everything. And by defining it, you are forcing the assembler to make it the way that it will work. Yes, that's functional programming. Basically, you tell the language how you want it to behave rather than do this, do that. Fuck, my mind was lagging XD. Sometimes instead of assembler, I meant the linker. Alright, but Ambra, you think all of that you are describing isn't. Oh, what's this? Broken chain. Isn't at least semi-senior. It's low level. Everything that you are mentioning is low level. Everything that you are mentioning is low level in that sense. Everything is low level. For those of you who don't know, low level is like that. Is do this, do that one, etc., etc., etc. It's all low level. Nowadays, functional programming as a paradigm has a dominance over that. As the person, any new developer won't need to know all of that to be what is commonly known as a code monkey. They won't need it to make money, to be hired by a company. Because I like low level, but I'm a junior. Okay, okay, okay. Because you like low level. Because you like the low level programming. But okay, let's go back to town. By the way, the Ender, I don't want to bore you with all of the discussion about software development. As you can see, we talk about everything here on the channel. I go from metaphysics to software development. The thing is that he knows a lot. He knows a lot, and I want him to be aware of it. A company, Ambra will always tell you that you are a junior. Will always tell you that you are a junior, even if you have the knowledge of a senior or semi-senior, to pay you less. To pay you less. I can assure you that in objective terms, that's not junior. That's not junior. Because the person will enter the software development industry through the high-level language. 99% of cases, not through low level. Because it's easier, and the person needs to make money to sustain himself as he keeps learning. In most cases, forget about me. I didn't precisely do it under those circumstances because I could teach English, because I got my family and everything. But it's not viable from an economic standpoint. They tell you you're a junior to pay you less and to feed that economic system. But objectively speaking, what you are telling me, I can tell you, is uncommon. It's uncommon for a junior dev to know all of those things. I haven't even worked as a software developer, XD. I'm still before university and I'm just doing all of that for fun, and that's your hobby. Okay, but doesn't matter, Ambra. Doesn't matter. The company won't care in that sense. They care if you do the job. In software development, even more. It works like that. It works like that. They care if you do the job. They don't care that you can tell them the history of. I'm telling you this because I at the beginning I thought it was like you are describing it, huh? That I had to know everything and I needed a degree, and I got depressed that, oh well, I chose being a lawyer, so I won't have a degree and the companies won't hire me because I don't have a degree and I don't know all of those things. The second I could do things that people that went to university couldn't, and we're talking about high-level languages. Always, the second I could understand JavaScript, and others had no idea what the difference between local and global memory was for JavaScript, and couldn't create a function. There, all of the history lessons didn't help them. They didn't help them, sadly. Then I more or less read a bit about low level and high level, but what's needed? The Ender, do you know if Mario is still a head dev in Drakensang Online? And or was the team completely changed? Don't worry, I have to turn in the quest, Ender. He asks you. Mario? Like my grandpa? My grandpa had that name. Precisely. Mario. My grandpa had that name. No for stolen. Aye, true. I never told the Ender, and also Access. But well, he had to go. Had to access what I am, because it must be whole team dev is different. Oh, what the fuck? Stream frozen? What the fuck? Okay, hang on a second, people. Give me a sec. I have to reload this shit. Damn, sad face. Whole team was changed, Ambra. I covered the whole. I know you don't like bods, Ambra. You don't like bods. But in the first bod over at YouTube, precisely I covered the whole history of it. In that sense, I covered the whole history of it. I covered the whole history of the game. I don't know if they completely changed the team, but I was commenting to you, Ender, over at Discord, and I commented to you, Ambra, that the Chinese company inherited the license of the original contract by Big Huge Games, the original devs, precisely the original devs. Sorry that I'm giving you a lot of trouble, and they inherited the original contract in which they don't have the license of Drakensang, of the tabletop game. Damn, because Mario was the only guy that got my friend an admin and tester position in Drakensang Online, but I didn't know if he's still the dev and why friend even is still an admin. Ambra, he told you if you wanted to become the developer of Drakensang Online and your friend was there. Don't tell me that all of this that you want to be a junior dev is to fix this game. Ambra. Yourself. Don't tell me that it's all to fix this game from the inside. You want to destroy the beast from the inside. The idiot developers from the inside. You want to destroy idiocy from the inside. The mediocrity and the stupidity from the inside. In that sense, that would be a poetic turn of events, you know. Your friend says for tester position. Oh, it's always good that they inspire people to do those things. Scorpion poison. Okay. Ancient events in the Temple of Agony. Dry wood in Evergreen Oasis. Parallel world quest. This is the no. Okay, that one. So yeah, that. As for the analysis, to wrap up the second talking point of today, people, see what's the direct consequence. I wanted to say this as a second talking point and a direct conclusion of the first one. So the game has a constant resource management, both regeneration and usage in that sense. But that has a direct consequence. Cursed Wish. In the Spiky Valley, what? We didn't kill them? Yeah, I bet he killed them all. Defeat 3 seductive Orani. 2 out of 3. We needed one more. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, Ender. Sorry, my bad. Since it has a constant usage of resources, this game, this constant amount of mana, it's been 100 throughout the whole game. Alright there. The quest changes. Alright, there were a lot of them. This one. Perfect. Okay. It had a lot of objectives. There should be one over there. Since it has a constant management regeneration of the resources, this game, the direct consequence is that this game's gameplay mechanics are a tiny bit slower than compared examples of the genre. Ambra says, I'm going to dev team and make the anniversary event come faster. Look at that, Ender. He heard your cry for help in that sense to the developers. Look at that. He heard your cry for help, Ender. This is a miracle. He wants to destroy the beast from the inside. He wants to destroy the beast. Fix the whole update that they released a few days ago. He says he is trying to destroy the beast from the inside, Ender. Now I see. Now a lot of things make sense. XD. He's trying to destroy the beast from the inside, aren't you, Ambra? He's trying to destroy it from the inside. He will end. He's like a noble crusader trying to get swollen by the dragon, which would be getting into the development of this game, the mess of the old code. Fair. But I'm keeping the daily quests. Fair. I don't have to spend undermonths for the kitchen keys anymore. He wants to be swollen by the dragon to then break open his belly and emerge victorious. From it. No, I was mentioning regarding the resource management of the analysis precisely that the direct consequence of having a constant resource management, both regeneration, you cannot increase your mana regeneration drastically so far, according to what I've seen, unless someone wants to prove me wrong, and the overall amount of mana that you have, basically, having that constant usage of resources, before I could get the Blood Mage, each ability would consume a lot of mana, and directly from that is derived that the gameplay mechanics are slower than in compared examples. For example, Diablo 3. In Diablo 3, the gameplay mechanics, in that sense, are much lower because of how stupid, lacking in abstract complexity, the amount of time it takes for the players to figure out the gameplay mechanics of the resource management in that case is. Basically, you can just spam abilities and you don't have to worry because you just increase the rating at which your mana, or what it should be over here, yeah, this one, in which the resource regeneration it is. Should even a fairy will reside on cues for new players will have some head start after finishing the story. And to spend Underman's the kitchen keys XD. First goal, make Tyke's life a hell, god damn, no! +1, like half of those items are useless as fuck. No. You know, did I show the emote to the Ender? Just in case the Ender, this is the emote that I created. It was the first emote of the channel. Here you have it. The developers are confused at your insults. People, Ambra, the Ender, they are confused. This is the first that I promised this guy would do. The first emote of the channel. It's a koala. It's confused. And it has the D of Drakensang because Drakensang starts as Deb. And you can see that he's confused because he thinks he's doing everything right. And you don't appreciate the effort that he puts into it. The koala is confused. He wants to retrieve the second fragment from the lamp of the thieving Sandling's stash. There we go. It was that one. He's confused. He doesn't know what to do. Same for half of the wisdom upgraded, 99%. The devs are confused. They don't know what to do. They don't understand your insults, Ambra, the Ender. They think they're doing everything right. The irony. Like, why they don't even try to make items useful, or more like the abilities they're boosting. Exactly. They say, why? Why do they hate me? The koala is confused. He thinks he's doing everything right. The enemies attacking from the valley prevent the attackers from reaching Haraja. Defeat Kala the Devious. Okay, we have to stop them. Money from events makes more profit for them than making some items everyone can get at any time. Pretty much. They don't understand you. Those things are for the passionate community of the game. The developers are like those little koalas just wondering what's going on. No, getting back to the analysis, people. As I was saying, precisely as you talk about the ultimate fate of the game, that I think it will be, as I've said, a modded version. Looking at the Passion of Ambra, it wouldn't surprise me if he was the one that, but in my opinion, more players, more money equals more money, but they do what they want. XD. Yeah, I think in the end you are right, huh? And that's what I was telling District at the beginning, precisely that this has one ultimate end. It was that. Okay, he kills them way too fast. Well, better. It compensates for all the time that I've like farmed alone, giving you long quests. I like that we have both sides of the pacing of the XP, like both options. Okay, there you go. Have you noticed this detail, people? Pay attention to the sound. The sound of the footsteps, I think, is bugged. Because it's the sound of the footsteps in lore tag. Like, it doesn't have different sound samples depending on the zone. Actually, we know that you want the scam jewel. Take it for 29 euros, nerd face. Finger up. Finger up. Indeed. Great idea. Great idea. That's what they need. No, and District and Patrick also mentioned something. The Cape of Winter that they had to farm for months and months and months and months. In that sense, the Cape of Winter, something like that. You got to scam jewels for free recently. That's after you found another piece of that they were attacking us. The lamp seems to be very important to them. I wonder what they are scheming at. Do they want the Jinn to fulfill their wishes? Who is their master? Oh wait, Will wanted to talk to you. He said something about an interesting observation, but did not explain the details. You will find him in the valley. Talk to Will near... I never seen this NPC. Spiky Valley's entrance. We know you had to farm, Seeker said. So we made it easier for you. You can buy them now. No. No. That's cruel, Ambra. That's cruel. Well, they are cruel to you, without a doubt. Buy that new room that is bugged anyway and doesn't work. I mean, they are doing a competition of which idea was shittier for the game. Which idea was shittier for the game? XD. Damn it. At least I know that that the correct idea. Yeah, when I started playing this game and first it was District, Flying Energies, Phantom, Patrick, then you, Ambra, the Ender now. When so many people started, like, the first thing they did as they joined the stream was precisely complain about that. I knew I was in for a nice, but this news isn't that bad. I knew I was in for an interesting review of it. As I analyze the gameplay mechanics and the level design and everything, alright, you chatted about the advanced aspects of the game. As I was precisely mentioning, as I was getting to the find and defeat the Sandling Scout in the Spiky Valley. Oh, nice. This feels like a deja vu because I cannot activate the quest guidance here. Interesting. Interesting. The quest guidance is broken, so we kill everything. Precisely. When I saw that the first phrase, crazy scars as well. The first phrase that they all said was, no, don't worry about that. The developers are monkeys. This was literally the first phrase most people said. I knew I was in for an interesting journey, you know, guys. I knew I was in for an interesting journey. I knew I was in for an interesting journey, and it hasn't disappointed so far. It hasn't disappointed. I'm enjoying it a lot in that sense, because besides analyzing the gameplay mechanics, I have the pleasure of seeing how you can have everything. I can take a moment to take a step back and see how a game can have everything, like the best passionate community ever, and still fuck it up. In that sense, it's a phenomenon that I have seldom seen in the gaming industry, if I had to say, because I think here now the quest guidance is truly, it was truly bugged. Yeah, it was truly bugged this time, and the set is picked for Dragon Knight damage. Indeed, pretty much that's my impression for anyone else watching this as a YouTube body in that sense. That it has an amazing community, as you can see, and it's so sad for me. And as I told District at the beginning, I think the end result, the ultimate fate, will be a mother saying, "I'm sick of this shit. I will do a modded server." It happened to World of Warcraft, so if it happened to World of Warcraft, it will happen to this one easily, if you ask me. I don't think they will have the oh, whoa, that was a one-hit kill. That was fast. Don't worry, Ender, I can revive with the Enderman. Don't worry, I can revive at the beginning of the song. Don't worry. Well, at the beginning, it sent me over here. Better. The idea, people that I was mentioning, for the resource regeneration, for the resource management of this game, just so you'll have the rest of the analysis complete. A third fragment of the lamp in the Spiky Valley is this one. It has to be somewhere over here. Let's see if I can kill this one, I. Look at that Umbra. Look at that. Takes a lot, but it would eventually kill them. 30 levels above it. Look at that. Oh, let's see if we use it for PvP. Yeah, it was told that PvP was broken. That the Dragon Knight would kill all of the classes, no problem. If you fight against a noob, then sure, it's good. Oh, they already took it out. PvP, I love it. I love it. In that sense, this is today is the day of the Polish Council, people. I will celebrate it every year. 9th of September the 9th is the official day of the Polish Council in the channel. There. Umbra, needless to say, they are both at Discord. I also invite you 100%. I generally don't say to not spam and bother people, but as I said, as I told the rest, it's always an honor in that sense. In case, because I can see that you love chatting about the game a lot, and there, for example, we were chatting as well. 1v1 is annoying. Play someone that's actually good and uses his brain for Dragon Knight just looking at position 99% of the time. Yeah, the Ender. I bet you can see how passionate Umbra is about the game as well as you. In that sense, you guys, they own you a lot, the developers of this game, because you said 2013 that you started playing it. And you, the Ender, is probably similar. That you started playing when? 2013 like Umbra or even earlier? Yes, but it's still it's tricky to avoid the Dragon Knight. Well, it depends on the class. Well, I'll wrap up the analysis, the conclusion, as they are talking about way too advanced aspects for me for now. Then I will maybe figure them out. I will eventually improve, people. I'm a noob still. But yeah, pretty much. I wanted to wrap up that the direct consequence of having a constant mana regeneration, is that the gameplay is slower compared to Diablo 3, for example. Is that bad? Is that good? At the end of the day, well, it's different. It follows the history of Diablo 2. Instead, the style and the history of Diablo 2 in that sense, in comparison. Hang on a second. Collect the third fragment of the lamp in the sandling from the sandling scout in the Spiky Valley. This is the Spiky Valley. But it doesn't indicate me, oh, we are in the same situation. Collect the third fragment from the lamp. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. I'll leave it to your discussion. People, in that sense, you're enjoying it. There are way too much advanced aspects of the game. I wish I could give you my insights, but you are the expert here, in that sense. I'm the expert on metaphysics and philosophy, and you are on the game. It's here to hit one button to swing instead of a dragon for most players. So, indeed, as I was mentioning, it causes a slower gameplay, in that sense. The direct consequence of having a slower resource management in the early game gameplay mechanics. Is that bad? Is that good? Well, it depends on how you manage it afterwards. For example, Diablo 2 has that slower regeneration in comparison to Diablo 3. Diablo 3, basically your mana regeneration your mana, if you're a mage or whatever, whichever the resource it may be, it's way too fast for the gameplay mechanics. That's why Diablo 3 is so fast compared to Diablo 2. Drakensang Online follows a bit more the formula of Diablo 2 in that sense, in the sense of the resource management. Then it is true that the seasons, the aspect of the level design, is more similar to Diablo 3, which, remember the dates, it was released 2 years before this game. We're talking about 2010 Drakensang Online and 2008 Diablo 3. So, basically, basically, if you know how to moonwalk in PvP. Basically, the idea is that when that's it. I think I got it. No, what the fuck? This is the same. Oh god. Oh god. No, we didn't collect it, but we killed the mob. What on earth? It's the same as before, people. It's the same as before. They just call you a cheater if you moonwalk. Moonwalking. Ah. See. Yeah. Okay. So there's moonwalking in this game. In Gears of War, there's something like that. That you kind of like bounce between walls, and they call you that. In Gears of War, that was a thing as well. I think I know what you're somehow mentioning. In that sense, getting back to it, the direct consequence. Where's that shitty thing? Collect the third fragment of the Sandling Scout lamp. Here. I don't think it's the is the quest there, people, at all. In that sense, the fact that you have a slower resource management in this game causes a much slower gameplay system, that it doesn't scale exponentially. You can see a difference here, as I was mentioning. So, basically, direct consequence. The gameplay is slower, more similar to Diablo 2 than Diablo 3, and that has a third consequence that I wanted to highlight. Breaking through the paradigm of min-maxing in the framework stat system of the gameplay mechanics. That's a positive aspect. Just as I mentioned, like one consequence being slower, maybe it's this shit. Defend Julius's mommy in the Spike Valley? What the? No, this is not the main quest. It's not this one. I won't fall for that trap again. It has to be somehow here, that thing. Collect the third fragment of the lamp from the Sandling Scout. Sandling Scout? Where's the Sandling Scout here? Alright, I'm heading to sleep, because I have to drive my sister to the doctor in the morning. Oh, Ambra, you are so kind with your family. I didn't know that. See? The Ender, we are alone. We are the only children. Thank you from the... Alright, take it. Ambra, thank you from the bottom of my heart for visiting today as well. I love that your compatriots as well here, you all get along incredibly well, and it's an irony of fate. There it is. There I found it. It's an irony of fate that, precisely. Good night. Go, Ambra. Love you a lot, Ambra. See you around. I love all of the details that you told me about software development and those things. See, that sense. And never let a company tell you that you're a junior if you know a lot. They are trying to lower your salary. Trust me, they will try to do that. And you'll have to be, I am the best. Pay me. Like that. Have a great night, Ambra. Have a great night. As I was mentioning, people, precisely, one of the great aspects that I wanted to highlight about the gameplay mechanic, first of all, also the Ender, thank you if you told your guild master that he would also enjoy my crazy streams about the game and my analysis as well. In case it was you, I don't think it was random. I bet it was you, so thank you from the bottom of my heart as well, and to him for being the founder, subscriber of the channel without a doubt. As I was mentioning, in terms of the analysis, people, we need the gem, I guess. I think. Wait, where are the young ones running hastily into the valley's direction? Could it be an attack again? Please check what is going on there. As I was mentioning, the resource regeneration of this game is constant. It doesn't exponentially increase as you level up, which is a quite curious development choice. It has one consequence that I've been highlighting, that the overall gameplay mechanics are slower because you cannot endlessly spam your abilities until level 50, in that sense, with the Blood Mage point there that we did. But it has a second consequence and the third talking point of today that I wanted to highlight precisely. You only increase your source from the gear or the wisdom levels. Indeed, it's quite weird for an isometric action RPG for a Diablo clone. Um, if you ever played or play Diablo, for example, or Titan Quest, you can check out the game. You know which one? Ender, the game that I play on Wednesdays or Thursdays. The other game I'll play tomorrow, Titan Quest. Let's also increase it. I forgot. Okay, but it's quite weird to find a game that does not scale it naturally as you level up. You know what I mean? That's the thing. That's why I always recommend you all to play several isometric action RPG games, because that way you can establish a direct comparison. In that sense, I played Diablo. I told about the ordering that you could potentially play isometric action RPG games. For example, I highly suggest you Diablo 2 with the Median Excel mod, for example, and there you can see, for example, the scaling. If you don't like the traditional experience, or Diablo 2 Resurrected, they added the jewels to reduce the skill costs instead. Well, that for example, but it is quite weird that they created a game, the original devs, I don't know if in previous versions it wasn't like this, but right now, as far as I can tell here, the idea is that when you level up, your mana does not increase at all. Like, it always remains the same, and the cost of the spells as well. True, then we do the Blood Mage, and it costs health points. Now I know that. But the thing is that makes the gameplay mechanics slower. This is not bad, it's different. It has the style of Diablo 2 instead of Diablo 3. However, the second consequence, and the third talking point that I precisely wanted to mention is that this style of resource management. Oh, an attack again, you found another Granny's note, I already noticed. An old like a note, is back into its back. I just know of one owl as big as a rock, and this is in the valley. It made a long time ago, but it is made from ordinary stone. Please take a look at it. Perhaps you can find a matching gem. Okay, let's go. Find the big stone all in the spiky valley. I love how it's sending us back and forth. The thing, and the runes give you more mana and mana regeneration. The best thing is other classes just go for runes that increase the mana regeneration and mana itself. Only the mage goes like... Ah, wait, the other classes can increase the mana regeneration. Okay. Ah, that's an interesting detail for the analysis. The other classes just go for runes that increase the mana regeneration. Okay, it's more like a traditional... Okay, but do the mana of the other classes, does it increase as they level up, like naturally? No, they always depend on objects. That's the key. They always depend on objects, in that sense. They always depend on objects. Yeah. You said it. The runes... Other classes don't have the option to swap the cost for HP instead of mana. But does it increase naturally? Like, as they level up, this pool increases. Like would be the formula of Diablo, for example. Or do they need... Just go for runes? No. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Then the theory is aligning perfectly. Perfect. Magnificent. So, it doesn't have an exponential resource management regeneration through the inherent stat system. Just runes. Okay, perfect. It's through the intrinsic stat system of the game. By intrinsic, I mean internal to the stats of the character. Okay, perfect. I need to make that distinction. I classify games. I classify the stat system, the stat framework of games, in intrinsic and extrinsic. Games like Borderlands, for example, that you and me we love so much, have an extrinsic stat system. The stats of your character, especially the base attack damage and the crits, that will ensure that you are efficient in combat, are increased by extrinsic factors. I explained this in the second part of the review, I think. It should have been published by now. This game has a mix between intrinsic and extrinsic systems. but the predominance is that of the extrinsic system for what you are telling. I want to see the predominance in the proportion between extrinsic, external factors that increase the stat system, or the stats of your character, and factors that increase the stat system of your character internally, like from just leveling up, experience, etc. Those things, basically. And that's the idea. So, like that, we can deduce that the game has a mostly extrinsic system. In Path of Exile, you also use your stats to increase the levels. Indeed, it's extrinsic as well. But I like classifying them. Talk to the stone owl. Oh, this one? I need to talk to him? Do it. That's the key. Diablo 2, originally, older isometric action RPG games, you will see, for example, Titan Quest, the one that I'm playing tomorrow, for example, the other one that I play, it increases the stats externally as well, but also internally. Not only from the skill tree, but from the attributes. You distribute your attributes. You increase your strength, your, I don't know, if you are a rogue, your dexterity, depending on the naming convention, or if you're a mage, your magic. And that increases your base damage without getting gear or external factors that modify the framework of the stat system of the game. I sense magic in the lamp around thee, though probably worthy of me to hear my words, but to enter one must also possess strength and intellect. Show me thy strength when facing opponents. Cursed wish? Prove thyself. Collect 10 invader masks from masked invaders in Spiky Valley. Is this location, right? Is this one. Painful. And that leads me to the second consequence, people. That leads me to the second consequence of having a non-exponential stat system, a resource management system for the mana. Makes the gameplay slower, that's the first one. And the second one is that it influences the paradigm of min-maxing in the framework of the stat system. What I always mention about Diablo. What do I mean by this? The first talking point influences the second one. As I was mentioning, I've been paying attention to this from several since the other day, since last week, from several days, then offline, as I'm preparing for the final analysis, in terms of the resource management, it influences min-maxing as a phenomenon of the gameplay mechanics in a positive way. Why? What is it that I always complain about when talking about Diablo 3? That in Diablo 3, the developers didn't break through the paradigm of min-maxing as part of the framework of the stat system. Why do I mean with this stupid and crazy theory? Because I know it's extremely abstract, what I always mention about the game. Empirical evidence. In Diablo 3, if you watch any gameplay, you don't need to have even played the game. The amount of time that you spend designing your defensive strategy, what is it? It's 0. Why? Because you kill mobs so fast in Diablo 3 that you really don't need to care about designing a defensive strategy for your character. You just increase your base attack damage and your critical or whatever exponentially. You don't even worry about the resource regeneration. See, there's the link of the analysis. You don't have to worry about the resource regeneration at all. And because of that, you effectively eliminate 50% of the gameplay mechanics because the player doesn't have to care about defensive strategies. That's what I criticize a lot about Diablo 3. There's no defensive strategy. You just defend Julov's mommy. Oh, mommy. There. You just increase your base attack damage. And you don't even care for your defense at all. And that is effectively eliminating 50% of the gameplay mechanics, what I always complain about Diablo 3. You kill enemies so fast that the player really doesn't have to care about the abstract complexity of the defensive system because it's not there. And that damages the overall complexity of the game. Because you don't have to care about defense. In this game, at least so far, I love how you can make defensive layers in Path of Exile precisely under. That's the thing. That style is effectively embracing 50% of the gameplay mechanics. Because if you think it like this, in Drakensang Online, it's just don't get hit or have more armor value to reduce your damage taken. Precisely. It's what I always mention. I know that I use a quite silly and weird naming convention, but it's one of the first things that, precisely as I told at the beginning, the developers of games did when they discovered my analysis. Breaking through the paradigm of min-maxing in the framework of the stat system. There are isometric action RPG games, like you are describing, or have more HP. Yes, indeed, but that would also be a defensive strategy. In Diablo 3, you really don't have to care about your max HP. You don't care. It exponentially increases by percentages. I think we need to re-enter to get one more of those. Or converting the damage into something. Having a chance to dodge would be good. I suggested it. I suggested it in the analysis. The game that I recommended precisely to you and to access, Sacred 2, fixes that. It's a game in which, since the gameplay mechanics are slower and the resource management is slower, like it was in Diablo 2 originally, having a slower resource management forces the player to design a defensive strategy. The isometric action RPG should have a defensive strategy to be more efficient. That's what I always propose when I analyze them. That's why I gave it 10 out of 10 to Sacred 2, because Sacred 2 allows you to choose block damage, to have evasion chance, to increase your health, and if you don't invest points in you have kind of like attributes in Sacred 2. You can check out my, I took the, you see, it was the main analysis of last year, just like this one, like Drakensang is for this one. Basically, if you don't increase them, you get killed in one blow. That doesn't happen in Diablo. In Diablo, it doesn't happen. In Diablo 3, you just kill, and in a lot of modern isometric action RPG games, in this one, I still don't know because I haven't gotten to the end game, but because of what you are mentioning, it's precisely that phenomenon. It's called not breaking through the paradigm, through the limitations of min-maxing as a paradigm of a stat system, not breaking through the paradigm of min-maxing in the framework of the stat system. In Diablo 4, you just out-heal the damage or dodge the skills, for example. How much, but think of it like this, how much time you spent in Diablo 4 if you played it, designing your defensive strategy, how much time compared to the damage? Did the game give you an amount of time to think about how to defend from attacks? Because at the end of the day, it's 50% of the gameplay mechanics. One day of playing it on my friend's account, well, you will see. I don't know how it is for Diablo 4. I haven't played it. But in Diablo 3, what they did is that. I hope Diablo 4 follows the solution. Only solving the riddle separates thee from the goal. The toughest foe is yet to come when the others are gone. Splinter to splinter and stone to stone. What is left from the center and lead to the precious unknown. Alright, it had a nice rhyme there. Basically, I did the whole build in 2 days of playing. But you had to... How much time you had to dedicate to defense, you would say, and how much you had to dedicate to attack. Diablo 4 is too easy. Okay. What you say is too easy. I've seen this a lot of times. When the player base says it's too easy, you prefer Path of Exile, it has some form of challenge. Okay, this is perfect. I will rationalize that. Why is it easy? Then, why would you say you feel it's easy? In Diablo 4, it didn't matter, you get all the necessary items and gear to deal with all of the content. Why would you say it's easy? Because of that. Because they provide you all the... You don't have to care about the attributes and everything. I love these discussions, these debates, people. Why would you say you think it's easy? And I can rationalize it precisely. Most probably the chances are that what I'm mentioning is that it's for 50-year-old plus dads who want to achieve something Diablo 4. Alright, that was an amazing conclusion. It's a slow. It doesn't require you reaction times. See the difference between Um, for example, indeed it's too easy. Indeed it's too easy, and I'm rationalizing it. I can tell you, sorry, I can tell you that you find it boring because of the abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics is low. Path of Exile 2 is the complete opposite. It's complex. It's complex. I bet. But what is it? How because this is what I do. I rationalize those thoughts. You can how can you add content to the game? People I always mention it. Through depth or content. Content is just adding the maps, pretty much more content. That's pretty much it. The depth. What he's mentioning is the depth. And how can we objectively define depth? As I always say, people, we need to define terms. We need to define all of these concepts in absolute terms, because otherwise we are just defining them in a comparison. If I just tell you, as my final conclusion, that, well, Path of Exile is better than Diablo 4, and that's it, I'm not giving you why, but I will rationalize you why. He's mentioning all of that. I suspect it can be because Path of Exile has bigger replayability through depth rather than content. And what is depth? Objectively defined. The amount of time it takes for the player to be efficient in combat and master the gameplay mechanics. In Diablo 4, he probably already mastered all of the gameplay mechanics. These are deductions, correct me if I'm wrong. These are just my deductions. He probably already mastered all of the gameplay mechanics. And the repetition, there's a disparity, what I was mentioning precisely in terms of the level design, there's a disparity between the depth and the content. He already mastered the gameplay mechanics. What I tell you every night is great because here we can see the empirical evidence of it, people. With Diablo 4 and Path of Exile. He has already mastered the gameplay mechanics. And pretty much, the game still has content to offer, so that causes a repetition of the gameplay loop, repetitiveness as we call it. And repetitiveness can be good or bad, depending on the efficiency of the other concept, of the content. Well, anyways, it's kill all enemies, pretty much. So that's pretty much the idea of what I agree, says the Ender. Well, you can see this is what I do. What precisely the people that have discovered my analysis is what they appreciate about it. Pretty much the rationalization of those things, because the player base, generally, you all instinctively, or reviewers, in that sense, I'm like a game reviewer, pretty much what I do. Reviewers never tell you why. And have you noticed that if you read any game review, they never tell you why? They just tell you, you will like this game or not, depending on if you, for example, you like Path of Exile, if you like Diablo. But I'm really not giving you the objective reason as to why. Why is it? That's what I do. I bet you are getting into the lore of the channel by now. Well, even more if you watched any of the reviews. I get as to why. Why is it that a game is good or bad, objectively speaking, in that sense? And when I say objectively, and this must sound quite weird to you, and it's a part of philosophy, has to do that for me, objective metaphysical reality exists, because I'm a scholastic philosopher. Too lazy to write a proper game review on zero knowledge about the game. The reviewers are like that. They are told, go ahead, write a fucking review about the game. And they are way too lazy to do things properly. I agree with that. And it's one of the reasons why I created the channel, precisely to analyze the games appropriately, giving you why. Because this is the key, people. See how, from my scholastic school of thought that you know I belong to, for me there is objective metaphysical reality. For me, just like I told you before, that this gaming mouse is a gaming mouse, not because we all think and agree like in an assembly that it is a gaming mouse. Our thoughts do not modify how molecules arrange themselves in time and space. And with the games it's the same. because this affects all metaphysical entities. IGN reviews be like worse than mine, that's for sure. Okay, we have to restart the dungeon probably. Collect from Fulgurates from Gamil and Gamil's subordinates. I don't see Gamel's subordinates. I don't know if we missed any zone. Perhaps we will do one sweep to see. Maybe I can find them, even if they kill me like an idiot. Like, made in 5 minutes. Well, I took a whole year to review Sacred 2 and give it a 10 out of 10, for example, just so you see the difference. See this, how it also affects the philosophical standpoint, because most of those reviewers are relativists and they don't even know what a relativist is, and they don't even know about philosophy, they don't even fucking know anything that I'm talking about. For a relativist, metaphysical reality is always subjective. It depends on personal taste rather than the objective arrangement of molecules and particles like I do. Because of that, they will tell you some people will like this game will be good for you, or maybe, and it will be bad for anyone else. No, that's terrible. Why? Because in your brain, the chemical reaction of producing dopamine is objective in the plane of time and space, people. A game, while we all have personal taste, and that's perfectly fine, either in our brain we have a chemical reaction of producing dopamine when playing a game, or not. See, this would be a realist approach to game reviews, contrary to a relativist one, which would be, it depends on who says it. Like, it depends on my mind. When I look at reviews on Steam, it's like I better find out myself than reading some random sentences from people who played 2 hours only. Well, precisely that. That's why I also complete games 100%. I cannot beat this beast before reviewing them, but I did so for offline once. I hope this somehow works. Collect 4 Fulgurites from Gamil and Gamil's subordinates. I bet we have. Would it be that I have that we have to clear it again and spawn the boss again, because it was only 2. I tried out Fallout 76. People said that it improved. Is a pile of crap, or was it good? That it was bad. They said at the beginning that it was bad, and then that it improved. It's good, you need to try it if you like Fallout games. Oh, well, look at that. It's precisely the phrase that I always use when try. See people how the analysis have a correlation with empirical evidence. I tried it myself and didn't end up liking it. Well, that's the point. That's the point. That's what I treat. That's what I treat here on the channel. But you discover the core of the channel, precisely. That's the idea. For me, all of these elements that I highlight are objective. They don't have to do with our mental perception from our doxas, as they were called in ancient Greece. For the game reviewers, since I think the underlying issue, people, and I don't want to please don't think that I don't want to sound I found that aspects of the game that were too annoying for me. Well, precisely. But the reviews described a different reality. That's the thing. That's the thing, people. That's the thing. The core of what I mention to you every night here as I do the reviews. It's not a matter of mental perception, because someone could say at this point, this would be the relativist standpoint. Alright, the Ender, this would be a relativist standpoint. You didn't like it, but there's a lot of people who like it, so the game is good. See that the consequence of the fallacy of relativism is that you never reach any objective conclusion. There's no objective conclusion. See, you like it, other people you don't like it, other people will like it. Each one has its own mental perception. Do we ever find objective metaphysical reality? No. We remain trapped in our own mental perception of it, and then reality then is described in different ways, and none of them puts in the effort to approach the objective arrangement of molecules and particles in time and space. That is the key, people. That is the key. I know this makes a lot of people feel that my streams and my reviews are too much, but I'd rather have that than spread ignorance in that sense. Yeah, if someone told me farming fusion course, for using power armor would take hours of AFKing to produce them, then I wouldn't even touch the game. Precisely. Well, the duration of the crafting system, in that sense. What makes it good or bad? Objectively, let's grab that aspect that he's mentioning. Fallout 76. He's mentioning that farming for using the power armor would take out... The power armor is like the suit to do special attacks and those things. In that sense is what I always mention about measuring. Farming, at the end of the day, is an economic concept, people. At the end of the day, it's an economic concept. What I always mention about the psychological reward punishment system of a game. Fallout 76 relies too hard on crafting and getting like resources from too long. Okay. The proportion of the survival aspect of the gameplay mechanics. This is... I'm rationalizing what precisely you are mentioning. The proportion of the survival aspect of the gameplay mechanics is not balanced with the economic reward punishment system of the game. Also, finding the ammo for certain weapons that I wasn't sustaining the ammo at all. Okay, like when in Borderlands, when you loot weapons that regenerate the ammo, like you don't have those, for example, that you need for the end game, otherwise it's impossible. Precisely. So, rationalizing it, what is that he's describing? He's describing a lack of balance between the psychological reward punishment system of the game regarding the economy of it. So trying the weapons kills the fun if you don't have the ammo for it. The survival aspect has way too much predominance on the economic system of the game, the reward punishment system of the game. In that sense, there's a lack of proportion between the two opposite poles of it. Just like he's describing that, are all of the aspects that I mentioned to you every night. For example, going back to the general idea, either objectively the dopamine is created in your brain as you play the game, or not. It's not a matter of our mental perception of it. If there's a lack of proportion between the crafting system of a game and the economic reward punishment of it, not giving you the ammo, if there's a lack of proportion, and they didn't advertise it as a survival game really, it's not advertised as that. Fallout has always been more leaning on the shooter side of things, with the RPG mechanics, of course, in that sense. First of all, it distorts the genre classification. Because if we compare it to a survival game, it won't be as good as them, because it won't be completely scarce. And if we compare it to an RPG, it won't be as good as Borderlands, for example, or Hellgate London, that I recommended to you all people. The other day I was watching one of my clips about Hellgate London. Quite amazing. I bet you would love Hellgate London. The ender, you have to play Hellgate London. It's the one that you need to play if you like Borderlands, if you like Fallout. It's a game that you need to play. It's the original one. So, you saw one person say, the best way to get ammo? Just ask a friend who has 10k. Yeah, bro, like I have people like that to give me some XD when you start playing the game. Yeah, like bro, I have friends that will give me the ammo. So it suffers from the same thing as Borderlands, as Drakensang for new players, like having to farm a lot to get it. In that sense, yeah. But it's even worse because without the ammo, you cannot even enjoy the basic aspects of the gameplay mechanics. In that sense, it's even worse because here at least you have to farm a lot, but you can enjoy the basic aspect of it. At least you can enjoy the basic aspect of it. In that sense, at least you can enjoy that. So that's what I mention always, people. The creation of dopamine, this is the mistake of most reviewers, that they unconsciously use a relativist approach to game reviews without even understanding anything that what I'm talking about. That a game either creates the dopamine in the brain or not, objectively. Either the phenomenon happens in time and space, either your brain creates the chemical reaction or not. It's not a matter of mental perception of them telling you, which one was it, the previous phrase that I love because it's what they always say. That one. It's good. You need to try it if you like Fallout games. So that translated. If you like Fallout 1, well not 1, 3 and 4, you will like this one. And then there's that disparity between the economic reward punishment system and the precisely the expectation of having the MO and the RPG portion of it in that sense. So there's a lack of balance between the survival and the RPG aspect. In that sense, there you have the perfect example of what I tell you every day. I use Diablo and Titan Quest instead. People say, you will like Titan Quest if you like Diablo. Yes, that is true, but I'm not telling you why. You found a suspicious sandhill. What the fuck? You pulled Jolof's nephew out of the sand. What the fuck? It had a rough launch, but now it's worth playing. That's what I got. Okay, or that one. See that the person there, this is the key of the... I love it because this is the metaphysical basis of it, of the existence of my channel and the reviews. See that the person is not telling you anything objective. It's not telling you why you would enjoy the game or not. That's why, when I tell you that you will like Hellgate London, well, see, you will verify it. If you play London 2038, I bet you will realize what I mean. Because I know it's the predecessor of Borderlands, and I know that the abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics is that of Borderlands. Because Borderlands was inspired by it, and it had a developer, that it was a developer of Diablo. And also, that Hellgate London follows the same pattern of the level design. See that they are all objective aspects of the game, of the metaphysical entity, rather than my mental perception of it. The level design is similar to Borderlands in Hellgate London. It's a bit more multiplayer oriented. Bro has max character, best gear, all the ammo he needs, and forgets how he got it back when it was new, and so when he says a review about it, it is a small thing that it doesn't mention. Precisely. It's exactly what I mentioned. That's why I'm telling you. The game for you is Hellgate London and Sacred 2. If you like more online oriented, try London 2038, which is a community developed version of it, but I bet you love Hellgate London. I have videos on the channel, for example. There you can tell if it's like Borderlands or not. But basically, I think we have to kill one more. There has to be a mob running around. I bet. See if I'm wrong or right. You just do the experiment then. You just watch some gameplay of Hellgate London. We have to reset the area, I think. No. The boss has to emerge. We haven't killed everyone. No. The boss doesn't emerge. Collect Fulgurites from Gamil and Gamil's subordinates. We collected 2, and I think it only emerged when we killed them. This is weird. There should be a mob hiding somewhere because it didn't get to 0. No, because that way it will make you regenerate the area. Here, there's a mob. Wait. Here. One remaining. There was one mob. What about now? Does it spawn? There, Sentinel Gamil emerges. There we go. Yeah. Yep. That one, and that one should drop the 2 that is asking me. There we go. 3 out of 4. 4 out of 4. There we go. See, it happened before. We were about to reset the area, and it would go to shit. Precisely. So that's the thing. That phrase that you... oh, I see. No worries. It's because I was paying attention to it, because it had happened to me before. I was paying close attention to it. So, I had thought... it had a rough launch, but now it's worth playing. That's what you got. See that there, the valuable lesson from that is that it's not telling you why. It's not telling you why the game might be objectively good or bad. That's the key. That's what I do. My passion about the game reviews is to tell if the game is objectively good or bad, to reach objective metaphysical reality. And I will tell you, Hellgate London is a good game because if you like the abstract complexity of the loot system in Borderlands, it's the same. In the sense that it is an extrinsic stat system, see that it's like objective reason, in that sense. Crafted primarily Fulgurite, okay, we have to do a bit of crafting. It has an extrinsic stat system, same as Borderlands, and because of that you will like it, because it won't depend on scaling the level inherently, like let's say Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is a prime example of an intrinsic stat system, but I'm giving you an objective reason, at least. That's why I have at least more probabilities of being right in that sense. You played Tiny Tina Wonderlands. It has a good system with the chaos levels. I need to play it. I played Borderlands 1, 2. I need to play the pre-sequel, 3, 4. But I completed Borderlands 1 100%, every single side quest. It has... was it like... Where's the crafting? Over there. I did like 100% completion of Borderlands 1. Then Borderlands 2, not 100%, I'm completing it off stream. It was free from Epic Games 3 months ago, and I like go in order. But I'm telling you, well, then you will be able to measure if I was right or wrong. But the one that is for that, the older version of Borderlands 1, is precisely Hellgate London. It was the original idea. London 2038 works online, community developed server. There, the community manager was in my Discord precisely, and he's a follower of the channel. So yeah, pretty much I can tell you that one. If I had to make you a recommendation according to the things that you've told me, if you like Borderlands, Hellgate London won't be like Fallout 76 in that sense. I would say with that one you would remember me the rest of your life with Hellgate London. Then I still have to play Hellgate Global, which was another version of it. Then maybe you can check out gameplays. I have it on my channel of Hellgate London, playing with precisely with the community of that game, and there you will see how good it is. There you will be able to tell if you would like it or not. The one thing I noticed when people were showing builds in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, it was cheated items, not even dropped by them. Just make a Tiny Tina Wonderlands, for those of you who don't know, people, it's like a Dungeons and Dragons version, let's say, with the same gameplay of Borderlands, a bit more medieval style. Not even dropped by them, just to make a fast build with save file to slam into the game, and boom, you have working build that probably works in other Borderlands game. Yeah, no, I would never do that. That for me, that ruins the effort complexity of the gameplay mechanics, 100%. Primordially charged Fulgurite. There we go. Is that one? For me, that destroys completely the after complexity of the gameplay mechanics, and you are ruining the experience for yourself in that sense. I would never try doing that. I would never. Unlike that, I want to get him. Indeed. For example, in the video that I linked to you before about when I beat Cromarax the Invincible, I'm commenting this because I remember that moment like perfectly in my life, because it took me a lot to precisely farm a perfect scope Orion to beat Cromarax. The rest of my weapons were useless. Sorry, I had to drink a bit of water. So that completely destroys. Sorry. The extra complexity of the gameplay mechanics, people, if you ask me, never do it. Yeah, and what people do is just download one file, put it. No, that's like that, like Cromarax. You mean Cromarax? No shit. For real, Cromarax as well. No, if it's a ceremony. Getting to Cromarax and beating him is a ceremony in the first Borderlands, because it's brutal. It's always some levels above you. No, for real. I didn't know that the community of Borderlands had that problem. Didn't know that. Damn it. No, that's disgusting. If you ask me, people, that's absolutely disgusting. I have my kill recorded as one of the fondest memories I had because I had to practice a lot to do it. I have it as one of my fondest memories ever. Like they download the save file with the character with a good weapon and class. I bet you can just download save files with the best builds and do what. No, yeah, but it would. No, that's disgusting. No, no, that's disgusting. Would never do that. No, what's the point of playing the game then? What's the point of playing the game then? Like, imagine paying for a game and then downloading the save file with everything solved for you, and 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 that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much it. That's absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. No. Well, in the case of Hellgate London, I did the final boss was brutal. The final boss of the community developed map, which was Australia, was absolutely brutal. It was absolutely brutal, and it took me a lot to get to the required level. Hey, look at that! We opened another dungeon here. Search for a gem to fit into the lamp's setting. Here I cannot choose. It has to be at painful. There we go. Perfect. Well, it's just 10 minutes adventure until you get bored. No, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. A 10 minutes adventure because you don't get to see the evolution of the gameplay mechanics. You don't get to see the evolution of the gameplay mechanics. In that sense, it's absolutely terrible. And it's absolutely terrible. It's absolutely terrible. You don't get to see the evolution of the class. For example, in the case of the sniper, I was commenting to you, and you probably saw in the bot that I linked. I had to learn that in the first Borderlands, the scope wasn't 100% accurate like in the second one. That's what it feels like to cheat in video games, just skipping the process. No, but that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible in that sense. That's absolutely terrible. That's absolutely terrible. No. If precisely the joy is going through overcoming the challenges, like in fair terms, of what the game poses to you. For example, in order to beat Cromax, I had to beat the main game twice. You have to beat the main game twice to get to the required level, and then farm the correct weapons for your class, and have life-stealing grenades, and know that the accuracy of the scope. Then those players will never know that the accuracy of the scope, how to handle it. Anyways, I will tell you something, people. Even if you get a save file with the best weapons and everything, beating Cromax, if you haven't played the game, if you haven't played Borderlands in general, in the first game, I don't think it won't happen for a player that does a cheating and just has the gear. No gear in that sense, they balanced it very well. No gear can save you from the spawns if you don't have a good positioning. If you don't have good positioning in that sense, it cannot save you, no matter how good the weapon is. If you don't avoid one of the larvas, it's impossible in that sense. I wouldn't beat him. I haven't played Borderlands 1. Well, you went straight for the second one or the third one or the... Well, in that sense, no, but if you practice a lot, you can do it. But I can assure you that it took me a lot in that sense. Like, if you played Borderlands, maybe you can figure it out. But since the rules are different, what I told you, that the scope of the sniper rifle, if you don't know that subtle detail, it will fail some of the attacks if you don't have a perfect 100% accuracy scope, and the player won't be able to tell why if he just cheats with a save file. They won't be able to tell that, why is it like this if in Borderlands 2 my accuracy was 100% with all scopes easily? Well, because in the first one it wasn't like that. You play the second one and the third one. Teeny Tina's Wonderlands, the first one and the second one. So I have kind of an idea how to play. Okay, so then, well, you skip the original one. Like, you're going from the most modern ones to... Then, well, the one thing we have in common is that we haven't tried the pre-sequel. But yeah, no. In my case, in that sense, the first one will seem quite simplistic to you. Quite simplistic to you after playing those first. That's why I wouldn't recommend doing that. But still, I only heard pre-sequel is bad. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm playing them in order. Like I played Hellgate London. I played Hellgate London. I played Borderlands. I played Borderlands 2, and then the next one would be the pre-sequel. I just follow the order. I like following the order, not because of the story, but because I can see the evolution of the gameplay mechanics by the developers, how they improved upon them, the new ideas that they brought to the table. For example, what I said about the accuracy, or uh, or those things. The fact that, for example, I can tell you that in the first Borderlands, I think it was Roland, the trooper was quite OP compared to the other ones, so it's even more difficult to do it as a sniper. It's good order to playing. Yeah. I'm doing it like that. The one I would suggest you is I did the same when playing the Yakuza games, precisely, but because of the story. But I bet that besides the story, and there, if you paid attention, you could also see the evolution of the gameplay mechanics. In that sense. Alright, the boss is not here. Okay. I have to go back. Okay, we'll leave the boss for next time, people. Then, sadly, I have to go back, apparently. I would suggest you, not because of the story, but bet you could see the evolution of the gameplay mechanics. That's what I like paying attention to. For example. So yeah, would suggest those. Okay. To speak to Soraya in Hyraja. Oh, again this, outside of the desert. Okay, people. I think we'll leave it here for today. I have to go correct some exams, do my boring English teacher shit, in that sense. Also, you like the YouTube videos of evolutions of some games showing how it looks like in a sequence, one after the other. Yes, that's a great source of seeing the differences. That's a great source of seeing the differences of the different things that the gameplay mechanics have evolved. And I recommend you precisely if you want to check out any video on my channel about Hellgate London or any other channel. In that sense, any. I took it a bit extreme with London 2038. I did hardcore stuff, that's why. But highly recommend you that one. I bet it won't be like Fallout 76. I would recommend you Hellgate London because of what you are describing. Or Destiny. Has no one recommended you Destiny if you like Borderlands instead of Fallout? That has more predominance of the RPG elements rather than survival. Destiny would be another great option for you. Destiny. You play Destiny, well, see. See that at least I'm not an idiot, people. I'm not an idiot. You didn't like Destiny with compared to Borderlands because of you didn't like it. Why would you say it? Because you didn't like the portion that is like Halo, that is a bit lighter on the RPG aspect of it. It would need to be hard, like more predominant on the RPG aspect. It is true, but if you like Borderlands, it's based on it. In that sense, it's quite different. Then your last option is Hellgate London. Destiny 1, you liked it, was okay, but Destiny 2 is just the DLC spam slop $60. Okay, but the gameplay mechanics, you like them only in the first one. Yeah, it is true. The second one leans a bit more towards shooter. The game for you is Hellgate London. I'm sorry to tell you. It's the only one that can match Borderlands was the original idea, which was Hellgate London. It's Hellgate London. The only one that will match the majesticness of Borderlands with shooting mechanics is Hellgate London. Hellgate London, people. Yeah, but you like the first one. Well, the first one is a I have something for you then. Wait, I have something for you. If you like the first one, they are doing an offline reverse engineered server. They are doing an offline reverse engineered server for the emulator on PS3, so you can play Destiny 1 again because you can no longer play it. Check it out. Check out the emulator for the PS3. You will be able to play Destiny 1 in the future again. There's a community developed. I heard to play Destiny 2 without the DLC to deal damage is to spam rocket launchers XD. Good luck with the M of... I did the Destiny 2. I didn't play the first one, I played the second one, as I always do. Always just a story in that sense. I liked it. Not as much as Borderlands. Not, it wasn't like Borderlands. Without a doubt, it was years away from Borderlands. And I wish I could have experienced the first one. That's why I'm waiting for that. For the reverse engineered servers. So check out the reverse engineered servers that it will have. It's still not ready, but it will be. Then the PS3 emulator on PC. That one you will be able to play it again. The first one. And for the rest, as I said, hell, if there wasn't the aspect of paid DLCs in Destiny 2, I would be playing it a lot probably. Okay, wait. Then you like the gameplay mechanics. What you don't like is the business model of it. But you like the gameplay mechanics. Yeah, I agree that the business model is shit. But the gameplay mechanics, you like them. Like the complexity of looting and shooting, similar to Borderlands, the same level design of instance dungeons, the same item system of the weapons with elemental damage. Yeah, I like the mechanics, but the business model sucks. Well, is that Hellgate London, sir? Is Hellgate London what you are looking for? It's London 2038, precisely. You just need to get a version of the original CD, because the Steam version doesn't work. Bet you would love it as well. Hellgate Global is all broken. The good one is the one I'm telling you. Get the original version. Get it. I cannot tell you how. It's already the company's already discontinued. It all died. Get the original version of it. Install it. It's all free. Then London 2038. There, well, you can check out the videos on my channel. There you can have, before you do any wrong movements, that is a game that you will love. My recommendation. Then you can tell me if I was right or wrong. You can check out the gameplay. The Ender, it's been an amazing pleasure. Thank you from the bottom of my heart that you accompanied me again, farming for the bosses and everything. You're an absolute angel in that sense. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you told me, you never told me, and in case you were the one who mentioned to access my reviews as well, to your guild master, of course I will never forget him as well, as he's the founder subscriber of the channel. I would have never expected it in that sense. I did tell him. Okay, perfect. Tell him that. All right, you were the one who told him about my analysis, Wendell. Then also the same thanks to you, Ender, at the end of the day, because as I bet you well, he was surprised when I explained to him the backstory of Drakensang Online and how it became a problem. He didn't know anything about it, about the license story that I told you about. Yeah, I reviewed the story of each game as I start the analysis, precisely, because of that, because generally the player base does not know how. Yes, well, that's precisely it. You have the first stream in which I look through it. It's not that I'm an expert. I've only known the game for 16 days. It's just that if I'm going to bash a game, I have a responsibility, right? If I'm going to bash a game, all of the aspects that I bash about this game that I bashed for 16 days, there are also positive aspects that I highlighted. If I'm going to bash it, I want to know the ultimate fate of the developers as to what led them to do certain practices. I have a responsibility while bashing the game. That's the key. That's the key. So pretty much that's it. The original company inherited, made a deal with the you know that the as I told you, the original game is Drakensang 1, The Dark Eye. It's a Dungeons and Dragons clone, for those of you who don't know, that I played precisely, and because of that, the original owners that are still the owners of the license are the owners of the tabletop game, of the Dungeons and Dragons game, just like Wizards of the Coast is for Dungeons and Dragons, and they allowed them big huge games. The developer that got Drakensang the original before the Chinese company, they gave them the name to develop an isometric action RPG, a Diablo clone, basically a clone of Diablo 3. They wanted to exploit the license with the success of Diablo 3 2 years before. See that the release dates are always important because of that. 2 years before, 2008 Diablo 3, then 2010 Drakensang Online. The dates are the key. They wanted that. They were coming from Drakensang 2. The Radon Labs team was absorbed because of the universe. But for example, you can see that here the continent is named Duria, not Aventuria, which is the original name in the tabletop game that I only know because I played it first, because I played the games in order. For example, District could attest of it. So that is the key. Well, then Ender, you are as well a founder like him in that sense, because you made him know in that sense of the existence of the channel. So thank you from the bottom of my heart as well. Deep thanks. I will never forget Access in that sense. And I hope the reviews are enjoyable for you, Ender, and for Ambra. I always ask new viewers about it. Ambra in that sense has been around a bit more, and District as well. You like the reviews? You like how I manage the reviews? In that sense, with the details about gameplay mechanics and those things. Yes, they are. Well, thank you from the bottom of my heart. In that sense, hope that I am at least providing something different that expands the horizons of people. You learn a lot from them. Then we can talk about gaming history. You will see much more, much more that my viewers. That's what my viewers love about it. It's not, for me, the gameplay is secondary to compare to what I can tell you about all the games. In that sense, I'm honored by all of your presence. That you are not the first one who says that. Patrick has also said it. He's from Hungary. In that sense, now we have a predominance of Polish viewers. This is the Polish Council in that sense. So Patrick from Hungary, me from Argentina. Then I have to tell you even more about my country and everything. You know that I'm Argentine Italian in that sense. Have a lot of things to talk about. Well, Ender, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for accompanying me. Thank you for telling Axis of my existence. And it's an honor. I'm glad that my reviews, you find them just like Patrick and District and Fine Energy and everyone as enjoyable. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Hellgate London for you. London 2038. It's been my pleasure. Hope you had a great day. And tomorrow, people, as part of the schedule, we return. We'll play Titan Quest instead. Tomorrow we'll play Titan Quest. We'll do Drakensang, Titan Quest, and Drakensang. We'll do like that. We'll escalate them like that. Have a great night, Ender. Have a great night. And thank you as well for helping me farm because of how broken the experience system is. Hope you have a great night and see you all tomorrow, beautiful people. I have to go real quick, correct the exams, do my English teaching shit. Pretty much. A pleasure. Thank you for the stream. Good night, Ender. It's always a great pleasure. I have to go do my shit, people. Quickly, I need to correct the exam.